Everybody, welcome to Gettin Blitzed.
Gettin Blitzed.
I'm Danny.
Ooh. I love that. It's Halloween edition.
We have our team colleague here, Jonathan Davis. Say hey, Johnny.
Hey.
What's going on, guys?
Not much. This is a weird podcast. It's a Thursday night.
It's a Thursday night. We're coming you fresh after watching some football for once.
Yeah. And it was such an exciting game that
That
we can really get some fresh analysis.
Let's talk about this game.
That's not.
Nothing. Did anything happen that interests us?
Drew Brees snuck a touchdown in. Touchdown?
It was good already.
Touchdown in.
Yeah, it was a pretty shitty game. I thought that game was a coin flip, and even after watching, I think it was still a coin flip. I don't think New Orleans played that much better than Carolina.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Despite the score.
To keep the theme of my receivers fucking me, Kelvin Benjamin did shit tonight.
Yeah.
Well, he's catching balls thrown by.
He's not catching them because they're not throwing where he can catch
he's
them.
trying to catch balls thrown by Cam. I throw where I please, Newton.
Yeah, Cam does seem to have some real mechanical issues with his throwing that need to be fixed. He kind of reminds me of maybe Matthew Stafford a couple years ago, where it just, and still Matthew Stafford, where it just, he's got mechanical issues that need fixed, and they haven't been fixed yet. And until he does that, he's never going to even approach being a top 8 quarterback, I don't think.
Is this going to affect his career later as far as getting paid or staying on?
I think because Ben just said that, he's going to be the best quarterback in the league the rest of the season.
I'm fine with that because I like Cam Newton. I like him. You're probably right. But hey, we know all these athletes listen to Gettin Blitzed. They take our advice. They'll probably spend the next week. He's got a long week fixing all his mechanics, and it'll be great. Good. Move on.
Cool. Breaking news for me and Ben anyway. Most of you listening know about our effort to have one of our ideas go viral. We call it Change the Name, Washington Americans.
Yeah, we're trying to get the Redskins to change their name to the Washington Americans.
Right.
Because they can keep the same logo, same uniforms,
Yes.
and suddenly it goes from being a really shitty racist name to a really respectful and daring name.
Right. And if you don't even want to go deep with it, it could just be short for Native Americans.
Yeah, however you want it to be.
Whatever you want it to be, but it works.
Rather than saying, "Hey, their skin's red," saying, "No, they're Americans."
They're Americans,
what's wrong with that?
Or just short for Native. Whatever you want, it still works better than fucking Redskins.
I had a thought the other day about that. If you had a Native American coworker and you called him a Redskin, you would be fired immediately.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Well, no, it's true. Take it out of the context of sports, and it's really offensive.
Yes. Anyways, we have that, and Kieth Olbermann.
And to be clear, I tweeted our graphic, the Washington Americans graphic, out to Kieth Olbermann about, I would say, 3 or 4 months ago.
The graphic should have appeared or will be appearing on the screen as you're watching right now.
Ooh, we're getting fancy at Gettin Blitzed.
Yes, Ben tweeted that to him, and he used it in one of his segments, right?
Not the exact image, but he did.
Yes.
An image came up during his segment that said the Washington Americans.
Right.
And then we got no credit.
No credit. 0 credit, so fuck you, Kieth Olbermann. Let's get to the news.
The news.
Let's talk about Baltimore at Cincinnati.
Why?
Yeah, I know, not that exciting, but, I mean, as far as... Crown of the North and Cincinnati's been kind of a story. Can they stay good? Are they good at all? That kind of, what I mean.
I just kind of think the Bengals, in spite of the fact that they're first in their division and have a lot of talent, are kind of one of the most boring teams in the league.
You think that stems from Andy Dalton, like I've said?
I think that's part of it. I think it also stems from Marvin
Lewis?
Yeah, Marvin Lewis. I just think they're just... And AJ Green being out doesn't help, but I don't think it makes a difference either.
It is noteworthy how Mohamed Sanu has stepped up with AJ being
It is,
out.
But it's kind of sad when Mohamed Sanu is your most exciting player. Like, isn't that like? I agree.
Only because AJ Green is out.
I think when AJ Green was in, as great as a receiver as he is, I just don't think that team is very interesting. I think half of it is I just don't think they're that interesting of a team in general, and the other half is. We've seen, 4 years in a row now what happens when they get to the playoffs.
Right.
Whether they're, have home field advantage, whether they don't, doesn't matter. no one is going to believe in that team or think that's an exciting team until they can win a playoff game.
If AJ Green was playing the whole year, do you think the story would still be, can they break? Can they break that stereotype of getting there big? Okay, so it's
because I think that was what it was preseason, and I think that's what it was during the season when AJ Green was healthy.
And even during the season last year.
Yeah, they could go 16-0, and I don't think anyone takes them seriously until they win a playoff game, and I stand by that.
Okay, all right, fair
I'll
enough.
go along with that.
2-1.
Philadelphia Eagles at Arizona Cardinals.
Smoke versus mirrors game.
Yeah, but I was going to call you out on that. Good old smoke and mirrors team you called Arizona Cardinals. You know,
I think that game proved they're smoke and mirror teams.
How does that prove they're smoke and mirror teams?
If you watched the whole game, was anyone very impressed by either of those teams? Ton of penalties, a ridiculous amount of penalties, especially in the first half, which doesn't say a lot about them being so-called elite teams like the record suggests. And then, the game is lost by broken coverage and John Brown just giving a free touchdown? That's smoke and mirrors the epitome of smoke and mirrors.
What is it going to take for you to rescind your statement when they beat the Seahawks?
Super Bowl win.
That's it?
No, not that. But
beat the Seahawks and beat the Niners at least once.
No, to at least all it would really take is for either of those teams to really compete. They don't have to win, but to really compete against one or two teams that I think are legitimately good. If Cardinals had competed with the Broncos, and to be fair, they didn't have a quarterback, so I'm not blaming them for not. But if Palmer had been in and they competed with the Broncos and lost by 3, I wouldn't call them a smoke and mirrors team.
Well,
when they beat Dallas this week, then you'll stop calling them
the
that.
Brandon Whedon Dallas or the Tony Romo Dallas.
Any Dallas, the DeMarco Murray Dallas.
Even if they do, I think that would almost suggest that maybe Dallas is a smoke and mirrors team too, which I don't want to believe, but I do think there's legitimate suspicion of that.
All right, what about Philly?
I mean, Nick Foles is terrible. He throws for 411 yards, but anyone that watched that game has to say he's terrible. Turns the ball over twice in the end zone, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't make any impressive throws. Jeremy Maclin makes him look good in the box score, but he's not a good quarterback.
Consistency.
He hasn't been good all year.
Consistency is not a word that goes in the same sentence with Nick Foles.
Well, what's weird
came
is
out of
he
nowhere.
almost consistently puts up good box scores. But anyone, and it was the same was true last year. He would throw. There was the perfect play to watch if you want to know who Nick Foles is. It was last year, Eagles against Packers. He throws a deep ball to Deshaun Jackson, who's double covered. One of the Green Bay defenders catches it, drops it. The other Green Bay defender bobbles it, tosses it in the air, and Deshaun Jackson catches it for a touchdown. Now, that goes on record as an 80-yard touchdown for Nick Foles, but what he really did was threw 2 interceptions, basically. He's not good. He gets really lucky. He's the luckiest quarterback in the league. He's the anti-Romo.
Speaking of Romo, what happened to your boy there when the Americans
I literally thought he was dead.
Came to town?
Yeah, I thought, when I saw him on the ground, I thought that was season ending. Because we all know he had the back surgery, he's had back problems, and it was clearly a back problem in that. I thought, and this was my birthday night, I'm out with my friends, drinking at the bar, enjoying a game that I thought was, easy win for Dallas, I can celebrate that. Brutal game. I mean, just a brutal game. And Redskins always play their division tough, so that's fair. But yeah, that injury, hopefully it's not serious. It doesn't sound like it's that serious. He might play this week. If not this week, I'd be shocked if he doesn't play next week. So maybe he dodged the bullet.
What about the game, though? I mean, let me tell you.
You gotta give it to Colt McCoy.
All right. No, Cole did well.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to Jim Haslett. Whatever kind of scheme he was bringing with those blitzes.
That's fair.
I mean, they didn't get home all night, but when they got home, they changed the whole architecture of the drive for Dallas. He was sending people from all areas of the field,
delayed blitzes,
and sending him late, so Romo couldn't get his offensive line, which is doing great this year. That's why,
probably,
part of the reason,
probably best in the league.
Yeah, definitely.
If not best, top 3, and no one could deny
Huge
that.
reason a part of Murray's success. You can get that good of a talent. You can get him in the right spots. No one's going to get to you.
Yeah.
But Washington found a way to scheme around that and send blitzes at the right time, and they got home.
They were
enough.
timed perfectly. A lot of them were.
They got home enough to change the whole story of the game.
I agree. And so, Colt McCoy played very well, which is one reason. The defensive coordinator really just seemed to have their number all night, which is another reason. And third reason is two different running backs turn the ball over.
There were
That is
several
actually, yes.
there
that
were
is
several
actually-
times during the game that Ben's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Dude, that was Colt McCoy making a play."
Yeah.
You gotta
that's
give it to
fair,
Colt
and I
McCoy.
do. I agree.
Yeah, right.
I give it to him. But if DeMarco Murray turned it over on
Yes.
what? The Redskins 30, something
Right.
like that. The Americans 30.
It doesn't matter either one. Both
Yeah.
both turnovers cost the game.
And what makes it so
Directly.
bad is both fumbles were after a really good run.
Right.
So a good play where Dallas is saying, "Yeah, fans are cheering,
Right.
it's great," and then you lose the ball.
I was thinking the DeMarco Murray fumble was like in the red zone. Like,
It was.
way deep
It
in the
was.
red
It
zone.
was at worst. It
close.
was like Americans 30, and maybe deeper than that. I agree.
Right.
But yeah, the point
He
is,
said Americans without even flinching. That's
no, that's what we're
good
doing. That's a
shit.
new bit. That's a new
good,
bit. on Gettin
that's
Blitzed.
good shit right there.
Olbermann might sue us for that. I never care. Right? But yeah, I mean, so you could say those are kind of the three reasons. Dallas defense wasn't great, but we all know they're not great. The reason they played so well is that Cowboys dominate time of possession, and they didn't do that this game. And that was before Romo went out. It was a combination of the defensive coordinator for the Redskins. What's his name?
Jim Haslett.
Yeah, fuck him.
Who's the Redskins?
That former NFC East team. I meant the Americans. But yeah, it was. You can't take it away from them. You can't say you can say fluky game, but at the end of the day, Washington wins, and they
Right.
deserve to win.
No,
On
well,
every level, they deserve to win.
No. I should have brought this up earlier. It's the two fumbles.
Absolutely.
No two fumbles. Dallas wins.
You
Probably
can,
by
say,
10.
you can say that. You can also say if Colt McCoy hadn't stepped up, they win. You could also say if those blitzes hadn't worked so well.
No,
they
I
would've won.
think the
the
blitzes
fumbles are
and-
the most obvious.
Yeah, no, I think that's the
bottom line.
Yeah, that's the bottom
Because
line.
here's the thing: at the very least, let's say the two drives end in fumbles. If one of those drives ends in a field goal instead of
They
a
win.
fumble, Dallas wins.
right.
if
That's what I'm
one
saying.
of them- yeah.
That's what I'm
So,
saying.
yeah.
The fumbles
So,
are
yes,
the
that
story
is
number
the
1
clearest,
and 2
that is
and
the
3
clearest
and 4.
way you can say
Right.
that's why they lost.
Let's talk about something very dear to my heart here. Brady Manning, 16, is going down.
His name's Peyton Manning.
Wait,
don't-
I thought you meant Eli, man.
I don't know why this is not a primetime game, but I guess the Broncos get so many primetime games.
Yeah,
they
but
can't-
but who? Yeah, whoever scheduled this should be fired. What is the Sunday night and Monday night game this week?
the Sunday night game is Baltimore at Pittsburgh,
And that's a good game.
which in 2010 would have been great.
Steelers are coming off a good game. Let's be fair, but still, Brady Manning, that should be on primetime every year.
Every
year
year.
it happens, it should be primetime. It's not close. And look, when Danny says that, you can say, "Oh, Peyton, home or whatever." I have no skin in this fight, but those are some of the best games. Those are some of the best games I've ever seen.
All right. Well, Vegas is giving. Oh, Denver's giving away 3 according to Vegas. What do you guys think? You think this is the first time we've done this on Get Blitzed? This is weird for a football podcast for the first time to be doing this. But let's have our picks here for this game.
Patriots at home. They've been playing really well. I don't like it. Wait. Hold on. Yeah. No, I'm drunk. I think Patriots win.
Patriots. Okay.
I think Patriots are the hotter team right now. They're coming off some games where they just dominate, but I think fundamentally Broncos are the better team, and I would take Denver.
All right, man. I mean,
Who's Danny gonna take?
look, I'm going to take Denver. That's only because I think they're a more complete team. But if New England wins this game, I'm not going to be shocked.
No.
I'm going to be sad emotionally, but rationally, and be like, yeah, they won that game
Yeah.
because they're a good team now. And we talked a lot of shit. I'm bringing this up again. We got to eat crow again. We talked a lot of shit about New England.
Yeah, but
we had a lot of knee-jerk reactions about some bad games they had, but there's a good team, man.
I don't think, to be fair, I don't think those were knee-jerk reactions. I think everything we said, if you listen back, was right. They made adjustments that countered what we said. I don't think anything we said was wrong. Maybe me saying Brandon LaFell's not very good was, I don't know if that's wrong. I still don't think he's very good. They're using him better.
Right.
But
The point about that they're using Edelman too much. They've stopped doing that. They've
Yeah,
gone away from
absolutely.
that.
And that's
I
changed
brought that
their
up.
offense.
I brought that up, didn't I?
And Chad even said they need to go back to their 2 tight
Yeah.
end, and that's what they've done.
So I don't think we were wrong necessarily, but that's not really the point. Well, let me ask you this, Dan. This is sort of a subplot of this game, a new aspect to Brady versus Manning. Aqib Talib. Is this going to be kind of a revenge game for him? You think he's going to be balling out in this game?
No.
All right.
Well, here's what did he play? 1 year, 2 years there?
2 years, but still,
Yeah.
I think he wanted another contract there, and they didn't even offer him anything.
No. I'm sorry to cut you off
Well,
so short.
when we interview Akeem Talib next week, we'll ask him.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't know. I don't know either, but maybe it gives him a little bit extra juice.
Yeah, I hope so. Let me tell you one thing. Denver's #1 rushing defense again.
Yeah. And this time more legitimate than last year.
Well, I mean,
think.
again, they were always top 5 last year. People that kind of went under the radar,
but they
they
went
are,
through a stretch where they were
as,
number 1.
Yeah, as of now, they're #1. So, I mean, if Brady can't get his Vereen and Gray and company thing going, are they going to have a good chance?
It definitely doesn't help. I think in the last few weeks, I don't think their offense has relied on a running game, so I don't know that it's...
Okay, yeah.
I don't think it's huge,
So
but it
it's a
definitely
little
doesn't
different.
help.
Because they relied on Ridley and company last year a lot more than people.
Yeah, and this
people
year, but
recognize.
you look at the last couple of weeks, it hasn't been the running game doing it for him. It's been Tom Brady. It's been like 2011. Tom Brady came back to life all of a
All
sudden.
right. Well, Johnny's picking the Patriots, so we'll see what happens there. In the spirit of Halloween, we're gonna tell you some scary stories, possibly, of the NFL. In a new segment we're calling the Twilight Endzone.
The Twilight Endzone.
All right, I got one for you guys. How scary would it be if Andre Johnson or Larry Fitzgerald or Vincent Jackson went to the Patriots? How scary would that be? I'd be fucking scared. I know you guys will probably give a shit, but I'd be fucking scared. Cause that's a big element.
It would make
yes.
New England a much scarier team. Yes,
Right.
it would.
Yeah, because right now, like, you think about it, who do they have on the outside other than LaFell?
And LaFell's not even that
Man,
scary.
that's like a legitimate question. I don't even know. When it's not a tight end or Edelman who should never be running on the outside,
Yeah.
it's, is
That's-
Dobson even active these days? So yeah, I think
That's scary.
it would make them a much scarier
All right.
offense.
Who's the scariest out of those three going to the Pats?
Who was it? Andre Johnson?
Dre J, Fitz, and VJax.
Andre Johnson, because even
I
though
totally agree.
he
I thought we
doesn't-
would disagree. I totally agree.
Fantasy players don't like him very much because he doesn't get in the end zone much, but his consistency rate,
Yes.
just the way he plays, and we all
The
know
way that he still puts up stats with a shitty quarterback.
yeah, and we
Yes.
all know from the preseason that he's not particularly happy being on Houston Texans right now, and he's still putting up stats, he's still making those tough catches, he's still giving 100%. You
Right.
put him on the Patriots all of a sudden,
Oh my
and
God.
suddenly he's tasting a Super Bowl ring.
Ooh,
Andre
scary.
Johnson, yeah.
I would not like that one bit. Okay,
Okay,
you're stupid.
That's Andre Johnson laughing when he finds out he gets traded to the Patriots.
Isn't the trade deadline over?
Yeah, we should have done this a week ago, but it wasn't Halloween.
I'm cutting all that out.
Good.
All right, who's got another one?
All right, you ready for this?
Yes.
This is a very Twilight Endzone story.
Okay.
So we all saw a Sunday night game. Aaron Rodgers tweaks a hamstring. It looked like a
Uh-huh.
lot of details on there on bye. So Monday or Tuesday, we got the report: Aaron Rodgers out for the season.
Scary.
I'm not over. It's not done yet. This is just the beginning.
Uh-oh.
Matt Flynn fills in, steps up, plays like it's Week 17 of 2011 again.
Oh.
Throws 4.5 touchdowns a game, leads them to a Super Bowl where he loses to the Kyle Orton-led Buffalo Bills.
Wait a minute. What?
Only in the Twilight Endzone. But imagine, the real point here is Kyle Orton has been playing like a great quarterback.
I hope he can somehow threaten those
Yeah.
sneaky Pats.
So what if
For,
what if Bills make
title.
playoffs and even are just decent in it? What would that mean for Kyle Orton's career? What would that mean for the Bills? Do they give him a long-term contract?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
If they make
Too
playoffs,
old. No. He's just there to be there, man.
but
they're
there's
still
so
trying to-
much talent on that
No,
team. What?
there's-
How much talent? I mean,
No,
and
there's-
not a lot of young
they're
guys.
looking-
Kyle
there's-
Williams isn't young. Mario Williams isn't
They're
young.
looking for their guys still.
Fred Jackson is young. I agree.
They're happy to have him, but
I
they're
agree.
looking for their guys
but
still.
do you think Kyle Orton plays for that team next year, the Bills?
As a backup?
You
yeah.
think he start? You don't think he starts for that team?
He'll start if they can't find somebody, yeah.
Who are they gonna find?
I don't probably nobody. Jameis Winston? I don't know.
They're not going to have that high a pick.
He's
Probably
still
not.
too young.
They're not going to have that high a pick. All I'm saying is Bills have been playing legitimate football.
Yeah. No, I
And
told.
and Kyle Orton's been
Have I said this
legitimate.
on air yet? But they're. One
Yes.
of the.
You said it on air, and you know what? And week 1, you know what I responded with?
What?
In not so many words, the Kyle Orton signing helps that team a shit ton.
Right.
I said with EJ Manuel, they're probably the worst team in that division.
Yes.
But signing Kyle Orton, if he starts eventually, that's a team.
Just to reiterate, I say they have a top to bottom, very talented, top of the league roster. It's just the quarterback.
Yeah, but I think Kyle Orton's good enough. I mean,
Okay.
look, Matt Schaub took the Texans to the playoffs a couple times.
Yeah,
I think Kyle Orton can take the Bills to the playoffs.
I agree. Johnny?
All right, the other last week, NFL.com did a series of segments about theoretical trades that they would like to see.
Yeah, trades they wanted to see.
Yeah, and I didn't know about this. I hadn't read any of it. All I saw was I was scrolling through my news feed, and I saw that NFL.com had posted a picture of Marshawn Lynch in a Chargers jersey, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? So that's my Twilight Endzone is what if Marshawn Lynch...
So your story is you being stupid.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, that is very Twilight. That's Twilight.
Yeah,
Zone-y. Scrolling through his Facebook and suddenly he sees Marshawn Lynch at Chargers jersey.
Blew my mind.
What
But I think this is only scary-
What if though?
This is only scary to one segment, and that's Broncos fans.
Yes.
So how would you feel, Dan? If you heard before
No.
the trade deadline ended, Marshawn Lynch to the Chargers?
I would not. I think they might win the division. They would win. They would win games. They were probably, on the fence on, and they would just have a better record. I'm not saying they're better than Broncos, but they would have a better record, and they would definitely win the division. That means we'd have to play in San Diego at some point.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, you know who else? I said it'd only be scary to Broncos fans. You know who else it would be scary to? If Chargers then make the Super Bowl and happen to play Seattle in the Super Bowl, every player and fan for Seattle should be fucking terrified. Because if you let the beast off the leash and now...
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't
man.
even think about that.
That would be...
In Arizona, so in the hot.
I think he would
hot weather.
I think he would give every Seattle defender a concussion before the game's over.
What?
It's a dome.
Arizona's a dome? Well, I'm going to cut all that out. Are we done here?
I feel like this has been the Twilight Endzone.
Cool. Thank you guys for listening to our Halloween edition of Gettin Blitzed on a Thursday night. Happy Halloween. Thank you for listening. For Ben and John and me and Leah's on the couch with the dog. See you guys later.
Ooh, trick or treat.
Gettin Blitzed.